Square Garden, just close to the Empire State Building, showing its colors tonight, and the Garden sold out. Game 4 from the Garden, with the Knicks leading 2-1. And here are the starting lineups for tonight's game. First, for the Indiana Pacers, it's the same lineup they use all season long. Dale Davis, Mullin, Smith, Jackson, and Miller. The New York for the Knicks, Latrell Sprewell starting at small forward, moves Larry Johnson to power forward. Chris Dudley replacing the injured Patrick Ewing with Ward and Houston. Joe Crawford, Ron Garrettson, Ed F. Rush are the officials.
When I asked Larry Bird, Tom, about what he intended to do with the Knicks changing the starting lineup, he said, who cares? We're going to make them play our game. We're going to just attack the same way we always do.
Well, if that's the case, Phil, then they're going to have to control the tempo of the ball game. That's the way the Indiana Pacers are going to win this game. Slow it down, make it a mudfest to play inside, and beat the New York Knicks up.
Dale Davis misses. Rick Schmidt's foul, getting the offensive rebound.
Beautiful game. That's a big-time score. Allen Houston misses the first, but a whistle on that end.
Houston is a man the Knicks need to get on track, hitting only 34% of his shots in the series. We asked Jeff Van Gundy if having to defend Reggie Miller had something to do with his poor shooting. And he said, well, they both have to work hard defensively. And he didn't really buy into that. He said, Allen's going to have to make some plays for us to win.
2 fouls on Rick Schmidt in 30 seconds. Well,
Larry Bird may not feel so bad.
Shot good by Latrell Sprewell. By Antonio Davis. Sprewell took it away. Scramble. Sprewell fakes and hits.
Well, Sprewell is the ultimate freelance player. He gambled, got the steal, made a tough shot over the defense of Indiana, and he's got this crowd energized.
Steve, the Pacers are killing themselves. This crowd is wild tonight.
And Sprewell fell down, so Mullin just laid it in.
But this crowd is so excited and so poised, ready to just pounce on that possible 3-1 lead. The Pacers have got to take them out early by having a great start, and they're flat as can be, Indiana.
The crowd, you take walks all day long. That's all you've heard is you've seen people doing the LJ, and you've heard them saying, we're going to win the thing. The whole city is abuzz with Nick Fever.
Mullin rebounds, a rare Charlie Ward shot. Jackson backing Ward down. Here's Dudley on the double team. Jackson went baseline and scored to tie the game at 6.
Jackson ineffective throughout the series, and normally the strength of his game, backing the shorter guys down. If that becomes a factor again, New York could be in trouble.
Well, he had 17 in game 2. I thought he was fairly effective in that one. It missed the last shots in game 1 and 3, but where was Reggie Miller? Here's Larry Johnson. Fadeaway is good. Larry Johnson hits his first shot of the game.
Larry Johnson has been the low post presence whenever Patrick Ewing has gone out. A huge game in game 3, and I'm sure the crowd wants him to duplicate that effort with 26 points.
That'll be difficult though, Steve. Mullin trying to get off early.
Collision and a foul, loose ball foul called on Indiana.
At least one of those things, probably all 3 of those things if they want to win. And again, I think sacrifice sounds good until you're the one asked to do it. And I think our guys have bought into it more as the year's gone on, and certainly more since we started seeing the results of the sacrifice.
Latrell Sprewell just picking up his second foul, which brings Marcus Camby into the game as Sprewell goes out. Did you pay attention to that now, Bill?
No, he still wants all 3.
He wants all the airtime, all the ink, and all the money.
But that's what becoming a team is all about. We've seen it down in San Antonio. We saw it fall apart in Portland. We saw it fall apart with the Lakers. The Knicks are showing more of a team concept right now than the Indiana Pacers.
Chris Mullin off a cut underneath by Davis. And here's Ward leading the New York break. Camby fouled by Mullin.
Breathing here in the first 8 minutes.
Chris Mullin hits the shot.
How can they fast break?
Dale Davis.
Gotten a couple of hoops, but it's given Indiana chances for second.
7 rebounds for Antonio already. Here's a save by Camby. Childs pushing the ball to Camby. There's the jam.
There's that energy that Camby brings to the game. Crowd responds as the Knicks crawl back to within 2.
Fine job by Chris Giles getting the ball out of Mark Jackson's hands.
Rose backing down Houston. The double comes from Childs, and Rose makes a tough jump hook. Jalen Rose off the bench. 4 points. Maybe he has bounced out of his depression after the criticism from his coach.
Jeff Van Gundy said that he'd rather have Travis Best in there because with Best's injury, that means Reggie and Jalen are going to play a lot more, and that's bad for the Knicks.
Here's a guy they got to get going at the offensive end. Houston on the drive,
Goaltending on.
lobbing over the top. That's where Thomas is going to be most effective. Great tip in Camby.
Marcus Camby continues to be the most active player on the court, just as he was in Game 3. Taps that one home with 43 seconds left in the first quarter.
Remember, at the end of Game 3, he kept that ball alive against 4 Pacers.
Antonio Davis, pretty turnaround to keep Indiana in front now by 3.
And Tom, I guess we're the only ones that heard about that bounty on Marcus Camby because nobody's knocked him down yet.
No one's put a body on him. He continues to ramble all the way from baseline to baseline. Kurt Thomas with his first bucket.
And that's where Thomas is going to be a factor, particularly in that matchup against Chris Mullin. So they got to go to it and make it pay because Thomas has been picking up fouls by the dozen. Not 1 at a time, but 2 at a time.
Seconds ticking away to end the first quarter. 5 left. Jalen Rose got the shot up and hit it. And that'll be a goaltend call.
Down.
Then got it to Thomas, who scores. Just fouls, has returned. Jumps into it.
This is the guy.
Childs, Sprewell's floater finds the net.
Sprewell now 3 for 6. Allen Houston 1 for 3. The problem is that for New York is that you got Jalen Rose and Derek McKee guarding Sprewell and Houston, and those are great individual defenders when they want to be.
Chris Mullin scores after Thomas goes down. In on the shot by Rose. 3rd time, he blocks it cleanly, and New York has it.
That's a good sign for Jeff Van Gundy. They've been without a hoop for 3 minutes. Larry Johnson breaks the drought.
Beautiful spinning move by LJ. He has 4 points, and New York back within 8.
This is where Chris Giles is at his best defensively, keeping Jackson from backing him down.
Jalen Rose against Sprewell. 8 to shoot. 5 to shoot. Sprewell got a hand on it and caused the turnover.
There, terrific defense. When Sprewell plays fundamental, concentrated defense.
The matchup here, Camby against Reggie Miller, and they go right to it. They're trying to hide Reggie Miller so he doesn't get the 3rd personal foul. The Knicks make him pay right away.
Miller returning to the game.
So they're going to hide him on Marcus Camby, the guy's the most athletic guy out there.
Derek McKee left. Dale Davis against Dudley. And he'll shoot 2, Dale Davis.
Now you'll see that Reggie Miller ends up getting stuck and tries to front. No pressure on the passer. Too easy a play, a catch and a drop for Marcus Camby.
The problem is that Mark Jackson can never, in his entire career, exert any defensive pressure. That's
Nice catch by Reggie Miller. A nice pass to Camby with a foul.
All he has to do is relax and fire.
Good ball movement by Indiana results in a jam by Antonio Davis. It went from Miller to Dale Davis to Antonio, who threw it down.
Jeff Van Gundy just must be irate defensively. This cannot be the game plan. To double team guys who are coming out to the 3-point line and leave dunkers like the Davises wide open underneath.
Just over 2 minutes left. First half.
Well, remember, Camby told us, hey, we're lucky to win the game because they gave up 47% shooting. Childs for 3.
Thanks. Back out to you, Tom.
All right, Jim. Here's Latrell Sprewell. Double clutch, and he got it. Toughest shot he's taken all night, and he makes it as New York comes back with its original starting 5. That is Chris Dudley, Latrell Sprewell, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, and Charlie Ward. And the starting quintet intact for Indiana. They've been outplayed with their bench, but they come back with Smits, Jackson, Mullin, as Smits finally hits joined by Dale Davis and Reggie Miller.
Rick Smits played 1 minute in the first half. 1 minute.
He should be fresh.
Actually, it was only 30 seconds. They rounded it up. Kind of like that phone company deal.
Indiana has started both halves with terrific offensive discipline. They posted up Dale Davis the first time they opened the game. That time it was Rick Smits.
It is an 11-point game for the Knicks, and if they can keep pressure on the ball and make the Indiana Pacers a perimeter team again, they get back in this ball game. 5 on the clock for Jackson.
Steal. Ward to Sprewell against Mark Jackson. Flips it back out to Larry Johnson, and now they'll set it up on the half court. Johnson with his dribble against Mullin. This is the man he wants to attack. Backs him down, shoots over him, and scores.
Larry Johnson with a very quiet first half. 4 points, 1 rebound. Not playing against Chris Mullin in the first half. That time took immediate advantage of the guy he has tortured throughout this series.
Knicks have it back down to a single-digit deficit.
Going to try to get the 2 big hitters involved in the game. Smits and Miller steal Ward.
Charlie Ward slapped it away from Smits.
Pacers have to realize they're going to let it go here, the officials.
Ward's runner, no good. Dudley had it for a moment. Now Jackson to Mullin the other way. Mullin for 3. Got it!
Off balance, tapped it right to Charlie Ward.
Houston behind the back. Got it!
2 guys, actually 3 guys they need to score have gotten off to a good scoring start here. Johnson, Houston, and Sprewell at the top of the 3rd.
But Larry Bird wondering where the shot blockers are. It's an offensive foul.
Reggie Miller.
Allen Houston freezing Reggie Miller here. Allen has had the better of that matchup throughout the series on both ends of the court. Reggie with 3 fouls now?
Yes, 3rd foul on Reggie Miller, and Indiana's already turned the ball over 3 times in the 3rd quarter. Sprewell. Well, something ignited the New York Knicks at halftime, and their big guns come out smoking. Already 2 field goals in the quarter for Sprewell, 2 for Houston, and 1 for Johnson.
And again, the Pacers' inability to hold a lead.
Now look at the defense. It's way up, and the Pacers are further out on the floor. Mullin coming to the rim.
Miller for 3.
Should have been and 1. Allen Houston knocked him down on the way. Miller is livid.
No. He was just pumped up himself. Joe Crawford wanted to call a technical, but Reggie looked at him today. I wasn't yelling at you. I was just happy I finally made 1 shot.
Incredibly, his first in 47 minutes. Allen Houston, Dudley couldn't handle it. Saved by Johnson.
That was a tough pass.
Sprewell tried to...
will do.
What about Charlie Ward challenging Rick Smits and scoring?
Larry Johnson is helping out Charlie Ward, getting the hands out of Mark Jackson. Dale Davis is a surprisingly effective high post deliverer and creator.
Chris Mullin, soft touch. So Ward and Childs, 2-point guards on the floor at the same time, and Ward has now scored 5 in a row for New York.
Well, the Knicks are doing what they've done best in the series. Hang around. They get a mistake from Dale Davis. That's a guy you want to handle the ball to get some pressure. Larry Bird not happy, but this ball is kicked out to Charlie Ward, who's got that feeling. Backs up. Drops one from deep.
Look. Allen Houston nails that. He has 8 in the quarter. And 14 in the game.
That was the toughest shot.
Now, if you're the Knicks, you would like to cut this lead down to 7 or 8 points by the end of the quarter. Mark Jackson on the bench.
Mark Jackson once again takes it inside successfully. And get this, New York is shooting 56% of the quarter. They've only turned it over once, and yet they have not gained a point on the lead.
Because Indiana has listened to Larry Bird, and everybody has brought some sort of contribution tonight.
Johnson hits the 3. Larry Johnson now with 9 points.
10-point game, and again, the goal of the Knicks is to try to get to 7 or 8, and if they do that, they've got an excellent chance of pulling it out in the 4th quarter. Miller.
Missed it.
And that's a great thing to do.
Marcus Camby. And look second shot. Canby had it, and he's fouled. See, that's what Mark Jackson backing down on Ward. 5 to shoot. 3 to shoot. Blocked by Ward. Blocked again. Shot clock by.
Squeezes it off.
And a push in the back. Looks like.
See, that's the way you use.
See if they can sustain it.
Well, they've done a better job of moving the ball and attacking the rim. Canby.
From Charlie Ward.
When you come off that high screen and you make the decision to step out, you have to force him back. You can't let him step around you. That time, Charlie Ward easily down the lane.
Knicks within 7.
Crowd in it, Van Gundy in it, telling his guys up, 10 on the shot clock for the Pacers.
Penetrating, getting easy opportunities.
Davis got it, and Childs with a steal. Canby is fouled by Rose. And now Jalen Rose commits his 3rd foul, putting Canby on the line.
Canby with great quickness here, just keeps running and beautifully laid back by Chris Childs.
Giving it up to Sprewell.
Score, got to take his time.
And he did, and he put it home. Kurt Thomas. First 8 possessions of the 4th quarter. Not much doing.
7-point game.
Rose. He got wide open. Larry Johnson didn't get back down court to pick him up, and Rose made him pay. Jalen with a dozen points.
With New York scrambling and double teaming, taking the ball out of Jackson's hands, everybody has to want to shoot the ball for Indiana, particularly Jalen, Derek McKee, and Antonio Davis.
Sprewell, LJ for 3. Thomas is firing blanks from the arc tonight.
Kurt Thomas has 4 fouls and
Steals.
Canby. Remember the trouble Indiana has closing out a game. 7:20 left. New York trying to mount a comeback down 7.
crowd is back in it.
Rose. Jalen Rose, but missed. Canby another board. Here's Childs pushing for New York. All the way to the rim. Score! Lob pass for Antonio Davis and 1. Canby.
Can't afford to lose Canby. Nice drive, Childs.
Childs right back to lay it in. 5:17 remaining. It's 76-68 Indiana.
Chris Childs has been very impressive throughout this series with his guard penetration. Mark Jackson, just no answer for it.
Again, backcourt pressure from the Knicks guards. Rose blows right by Houston. Miller's floater goes. Baseline floater as he got to step on Sprewell.
Indiana has to think offense right now. They have to just come out and get guys that want to shoot that ball.
Reggie Miller with 7 points on 2 of 8 shooting.
Looking for Houston. Reggie Miller doing a good job of keeping him away from the ball. 9 on the clock.
Thomas. Kurt Thomas, nice shot over Antonio Davis. Much to the delight of the injured Patrick Ewing.
Thomas can score inside. His basic problem is keeping himself in the game and playing under control.
Rose.
Oh!
From Larry Johnson and Marcus Camby.
Miller will shoot the free throws, being
All them all out, so we'll find out whether that worked. Johnson.
Larry was not in a happy mood yesterday. That was a tough night's sleep, of which he got 0. You saw that sun come up on Saturday night after Game 3.
well, Jeff Van Gundy, who of course his travails are well chronicled, still his status for next year has not been clarified, so he makes the big decision to bring Canby. How much of a factor was the emotional fatigue of New York after that draining victory in Game 3? It didn't affect Indiana as much, a veteran team, as it did New York, the exuberance of it.
Indiana stayed mad. It's easier to stay mad than it is easier to stay up. The disappointing performances have come from Houston and Sprewell, who had to be huge and were not.
Miller is fouled and 1. Minute 13, it was, of course, the controversial trade that sent Oakley away. Many said the heart and soul of the Knicks for Marcus Camby. The trade widely panned early. Ernie Grunfeld, the general manager, demoted. And now Camby playing like a man possessed. The best New York player tonight, and maybe. And we're down to 30 seconds.
But if you thought we saw a hungry crowd at the start of this game, wait till that crowd at Market Square on Wednesday night.
And if you're a Pacer fan, the good news is your team has regained the home court.
Déjame explicarte lo que se siente serio. Afro-latina boricua, nací en el 9 de mayo. Cuando tenía 11 meses, sí, tú no eres negra. Porque mi nombre es un nudo, mi existe. Sí, es boricua, mi piel no se pide que digas gusto. Pero tú eres mía, siempre con mi blue, cadena de oro, fresco. Harlem me vio, estrella en la escuela. Mi confianza gritaba en medio del caos, mi amigo. Pero la verdad es que esto va más allá. Queremos verlo en pantalla, representar. No parece Ricky Ricardo, ni toda latina como Rita Moreno. Contemos historia, la nuestra de verdad, yeah. Representación, esa virilidad, porque
let me break it down, what it feel like to be me. Afro, Latino, Puerto Rican, born in NYC. When I was just 11, they said you ain't black cause my name was Spanish. And the Turkish, so they said I'm Puerto Rican cause my skin was melanated. I felt hated, but I never let it break me. I stay fly, gold chain, fresh drip. Walking through Harlem, star every school, confidence so loud. Laughing through confusion, standing at the crowd, but truth be told, it's bigger than me. We need faces on screen that reflect what we see.
Stories, creator of stories, representation, the vision I'm pushing for every Afro-Latino who died or in prison. The beautiful faces of my people, the beautiful